Hello, welcome to Miss Weird English True Tales, the series where I share strange but true stories to help you practice your English listening skills. This series is 100% about listening practice. So I won't explain any vocabulary during this episode. If you have any trouble understanding any of the words in this episode, tell me in the comments below and I'll explain them to you. Now, let's get into today's story. Today's story is called The Secret Ingredient is the Freezer. Let's just say it's about pizza, deception, and one very questionable business model. I always knew Mike was a little shady, but I never thought he'd pull something like this. It all started when he hit me up out of nowhere, super excited, telling me about his new pizzeria. "Dude, business is booming," he said. "I can't keep up with orders. You should come help me out." Now, Mike and I go way back. We used to work together at a pizza joint in college. So the idea of him running his own place didn't seem that crazy. But I was skeptical. Last I heard, he was between jobs, and I didn't even know he could afford to start a business. I decided to check it out. He had a website and everything. DeCarlo's Authentic Pizza, with photos of perfectly charred crusts, bubbling cheese, and fresh basil sprinkled on top like it was handcrafted by an old Italian nonna. There were glowing reviews from loyal customers raving about the secret family recipe. It all seemed legit. Then I showed up to his kitchen. The moment I stepped into his apartment, I expected to be hit with the smell of fresh dough, tangy tomato sauce, maybe some herbs and garlic sizzling in the air. You know, real pizzeria vibes. Instead, the first thing I noticed was the stack of plain white pizza boxes near his tiny kitchen, and the freezer door slightly open, and the smell of something very familiar. I walked over and saw him pulling a pizza out of the oven with a cheap pair of tongs. "Perfect timing, dude," he said, sliding the pie straight into an empty box. "This one's for delivery." And that's when I saw it. Stacks and stacks of frozen pizzas, still in their original plastic wrap, all lined up in the freezer. But still, I thought he was joking. "Dude, tell me you're not—" "Just a sec," he said as he turned towards a pile of delivery bags. I stood there in stunned silence as he casually stuffed the pizza box into a delivery bag and handed it to me. "Wait," I finally said as I pushed the delivery bag back into his hands. "You're telling people this is homemade?" Mike shrugged. "Who cares? People love it. I keep my margins high, I barely have to do any work, and customers think they're getting an exclusive family recipe. Win-win." I couldn't believe it. This dude had literally built an entire pizzeria on deception. He wasn't even making the pizzas himself, just buying frozen pizzas, baking them in his oven, and passing them off as homemade.
So, you in?
He asked, smirking.
We could use another person for deliveries.
I took one last look at the freezer full of store-brand frozen pizzas, and then looked Mike square in the eye. Mike, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Then I walked out. 2 months later, his website was down, and I heard he got banned from every delivery app in town. Apparently, people started noticing that their authentic Italian pizza tasted exactly like a certain store-bought pizza. Well, that's the end of the story. So, what do you think? Was Mike a fraud? Or was he a genius? Let me know. I'll see you next time for another strange but true story. Because people are weird. But then again, so am I.